Listening to Moon Monkey. On this episode, we're going to be discussing Get Out, directed by Jordan Peele.
So there'll be some spoilers in this. So it starts off, it's Chris and Rose are dating, and it's the big moment. Chris is going to meet Rose's parents, and he asks, do they know I'm black? Because he's very worried about what they'll be like, the fact their daughter dating a black guy. Yeah. So they go and meet, they go across country to meet the Armitage family, who are ridiculously over-friendly. It's the mum and the dad, and later on the brother arrives, and there's that. It's a nervous situation anyway, going to meet someone's parents in a relationship, but there's more added to it because he's worried they might be racist. Yeah,
it's really just that tension of, because obviously in America, I suppose interracial relationships are still not that common. I guess anywhere in the world it's still probably not that common, and a lot of we're in that generation where we're kind of used to it, but the older generation is not so much. So there's always that difficulty with it between that kind of generational divide, I guess. And like you say, meeting the parents is always a difficult situation, but there's the added stress of the fact that are they racist? Are they going to accept him? So yeah, the film is kind of an odd mix of part comedy, part horror, and part kind of social discussion about kind of race in America, I guess. The horror more so in the second half. The first half, I felt the first half of this film I thought was kind of odd. It was just really uneasy, creating this uneasy vibe, and you were never quite sure: is that me? Is that because he's black and they're white, and I'm expecting something bad to happen, or are they actually really weird? Like you said, the parents were being kind of overly friendly. But there was always that weird sense that something is going on and something's going to happen. And then obviously later in the film, it gets into serious body horror and quite gruesome and quite shocking. Yeah. But not in a way that I was expecting.
No, it throws a lot of curveballs with the way it goes at the end. You're just thinking, oh, they're going to be they're going to be murdering people or something, but it's even more sinister.
Well, that's because I heard that it was a horror film, and from the poster and the trailers for it, you knew that it was going to be some kind of horror, and I thought it was going to be a typical murder film, but it's not typical at all. It does something really different. I thought the cast were really good in the film. Daniel Kaluuya, who's a British actor playing Chris, did a really good job.
Yeah. And you had Alison Williams, who's famous for the HBO show Girls. She was in it too, which I didn't know when I went and saw it. I knew Daniel Kaluuya was
playing his girlfriend.
Yeah, playing his girlfriend. Yeah, and they also had Bradley Whitford playing the dad, who was in West Wing. And I love West Wing, so I was I recognised him all the way through the movie, and it wasn't later on I figured out who it was. Yeah, I was he was very good.
The two young actors did a great job of their relationship early on in the film. Spoilers for later on, that kind of breaks down towards the second half of the film.
Yeah.
Not their acting's great, but they did a great job of making you believe that this is a real couple. And the two parents, Catherine Keener and Bradley Whitford, who played Mr. and Mrs. Armitage, again, they were really good at this really awkward kind of parents trying to be cool and trying to be down with the kids, and acting as though, we don't care that he's black, but you're kind of thinking, it seems like you do, because you're being overly...
Yeah, and he's constantly saying, I'd have voted for Obama third term if I could.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of this racial tension under this seemingly liberal America. It still exists, even with the people who are I'm a Democrat and I voted for Obama, but...
Well, that's the thing, I felt more like it was played for laughs. It's kind of in the same way, Ricky Gervais style humour of The Office. It's people trying too hard to be PC, or trying too hard to suggest look, I'm not a racist, but it turns out you actually end up looking more weird and more racist because you're trying too hard to be no, I'm not racist, I loved Obama. And it's well, why would you say that? You don't really need to add that.
I think, you were saying, there was humour. The standout for me was the guy playing Rod Williams. He was fantastic. Any moment he was in it picked up. Because it is a very kind of dark topic, but whenever he was on screen, he was just hilarious.
He was fantastic, but that's the thing, his parts were so laugh out loud hilarious.
Yeah.
It kind of, in some ways, undermined the tension a little bit. I know that Jordan Peele, who wrote and directed this, is known for comedy work. He's part of a double act, Key and Peele, and I think he's worked on other comedy shows. And I think it really showed through because he had some hilarious lines.
Yeah.
And he obviously knows how to set up comedy moments. Even during, like, tense moments, it's that kind of funny... Like, yeah, you're not sure whether it's supposed to be funny or serious. Like, there's a moment when she's... the girl Rose is showing Chris around her parents' friends, and they're making comments which are really inappropriate, but you can kind of laugh at them. I suppose you can only really laugh at them. You could be shocked by them, but for me it was just like hilarious things.
Yeah, like Chris's reaction to the comments as well.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to take a photo, I'm leaving this conversation immediately.
Yeah, and then like towards the end of the film, I really felt it had a Twilight Zone vibe, or like Tales of the Unexpected, because it was kind of leading you one way into thinking a certain thing. Basically just like, oh, this is uncomfortable, they're slightly racist, but it's going to be alright. And then suddenly it just veers off into, oh god, like something really unexpected is going on here.
Well, yeah, they get into like hypnotism and really strange stuff that you don't really expect.
About, like, what happens towards the end?
Well, we've said spoilers.
Okay, so towards the end, like, it's set up that her dad's a brain surgeon and her mum's a hypnotist. And basically what they're doing is kidnapping black people, hypnotising them, removing their brains or transplanting people's brains into their bodies so they can use their...
Rich old white people bidding for people
to
then
so
have
it's
their
like
brains transferred.
If you're disabled, your brain will be put into like a young, healthy black guy's body. So you have that physical strength. Or like in the film here, it's a blind guy who wants the sight of
his artistic eye.
Because he's a great photographer, so he wants to get put in his body. So yeah, that was really unexpected, and I think you mentioned it's something that hasn't been done before, so you've got to give props there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I thought, oh, it's just going to be another horror movie, and for me, you can either have a really good horror movie and it's fantastic, or there's just like a lot of bad horror movies. And I mean, going into this, I wasn't really expecting a lot, but it was really it was original, and it had moments of humour, and it still had the odd scary bit. It wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't overly scary.
So many good things about this film. I have to say, I wasn't overwhelmed by it when I saw it. I thought it was decent, but not as good as like people have been raving about it.
Yeah.
I thought it would have worked better as like a 1 hour, like something like Black Mirror. Or like the TV shows I mentioned, like Twilight Zone, it would have worked better as like a short one-off, because it was really like a one-idea thing of like, oh, it's the uneasiness of race, and then the twist at the end had that twist ending. I don't know if it really needed a feature. It could have worked as like a single episode as part of a sci-fi weird horror series. I thought, just because I don't know if there was enough in there to sustain it through the.
No, I enjoyed it. I thought there was enough in there. Just like finding out about the missing people, and then Chris going missing, and then finding out about Rose and the parents. Yeah. And there was enough in there, and then the grandparents as well that didn't find out later on were still around as well. There was enough in there. I thought I liked it. I mean, I didn't come out and think it was.
Also, I'm not sure the film really like hammered its message home, or if it really had a message on the race issue, other than like, yeah, it's a little bit awkward or a little bit uneasy. That seemed to be the only real thing. There wasn't like a hard-hitting like anti-race message. In some ways I appreciate it that the director wasn't like preaching to people. His intention seemed to be to make a really decent horror comedy film rather than like make a moral, like preachy message based film. But in some ways I think like, oh, you had an opportunity here to like really kind of get some message across. I suppose the message is there, but it's subtle. Is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't kind of labour the point too much. So overall, like an enjoyable. It was a fairly short film as well. Like overall, like an enjoyable film. Like a few good jokes in there, and the horror elements really unexpected at the end.
Yeah, there's some brains.
So, that's about all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Get Out.
I thought it was really good. I mean, I was going in with very low expectations because it has to be a really good horror movie for me to like horror. I think there's too many movies that are like, oh, it's a horror movie and it's just trash. But this was this was just really good.
There was more to it than your regular generic horror slasher film.
There was
an idea,
and that impressed me, and that
Yeah.
made me like it a lot. I came out and I was like, I don't really have anything bad to say about it because I enjoyed my time in the theatre.
So that's our review of Get Out. Thanks for listening. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll be back with another review shortly.